Amri, very interesting news that we woke up to this morning here in South Africa. Maybe I can say we knew that something could be happening because the meeting was on between the coach and the club president from last night. But how has been the reaction in Cairo on Pitso Mosimane finally seemed to be coming to the Red Devils?
Well, actually, it's still early morning here. It's a little bit before noon, but Egyptians always wake up a little bit. We always wake up a little bit too late. But anyway, it has been mentioned that Pitso Mosimane is among the favorites to take Al Ahly job following the disagreements with Weiler, and Weiler is most likely to leave the club on officially tomorrow. So from the very beginning, when Pitso Mosimane's name was mentioned, there was a big, we can say there was a lot of enthusiasm surrounding this nomination, because this guy enjoys a lot of respect here in Egypt because of his achievements with either with the Bafana when he eliminated Egypt from the 2012 AFCON qualifiers, or with the Sundowns when he eliminated Zamalek in the CL final, and 3 years later eliminated Al Ahly with the biggest ever loss in Al Ahly's African history in the CL quarterfinals. So everybody is enthusiastic about this man because he enjoys a lot of respect here. He's known to be a very tactical coach. He does excellent opposition scouting ahead of facing any other team. And he knows how to deal with the press, with the pressure. He knows how to play mind games. So he enjoyed such a reputation here in Egypt, because he always plays down expectations before games, and then he gets what he wants. So I think everybody's enthusiastic about this nomination. But in the next few hours, there may be some surprise that happens. Maybe the board they change their mind or anything like that, because we have witnessed a lot of stories over the years when it comes to Al Ahly and Zamalek. You cannot take nominations or even negotiations into a reality. We just need to wait for an official statement from the club, and that I think won't happen before Thursday.
Mm-hmm. But looking at how things have been going, it does look like communication between the two camps have been on for the past few days.
Yes, actually, it has been on since Al Ahly President Mahmoud Al Khatib issued a statement congratulating Sundowns on the domestic treble. And that was actually the first sign that, yes, Al Ahly is really interested in signing Pitso Mosimane. I think the time factor also plays in Mosimane's favor, because he knows very well Al Ahly's opponents in the semi-finals, Wydad of Casablanca, because Mamelodi Sundowns and Wydad have played together, I think, over 4 or 5 times over the last few years in the CAF Champions League. And he knows Al Ahly very well as well. He knows this group of players very well, because Al Ahly and Sundowns played in the quarterfinal. So he has everything that any new coach has to know about Al Ahly or about the upcoming opponents. And we have the Champions League finals in semi-finals in 15 days. So the time factor is playing in his favor, definitely. So I think he's the closest one. Yes, he's the top favorite to take the job, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're looking at the people who wrote the story. Our senior journalists here in South Africa, and I know them very well. Trust me, they've got their eyes on the ball and on this one. And also, maybe also Coach Pitso, he's always regarded Al Ahly as the team on the continent as well. And you were just talking about the opponents, Wydad Casablanca in the semifinals. It's also a team that he knows very well. I mean, I was looking at a situation where you play 3 matches and you are a champion. And this is something he's done before.
Yes, definitely. Well, at first, I trust you more than I trust myself, so don't worry about that. Then second, it's very appealing. 3 games and you are continental champion. and you would be doing it with two different teams. You already did it with Sundowns, and there is also another thing. It will be an achievement in itself if Pitso Mosimane takes over Al Ahly, because he will be the first African coach, not from Europe, not from Latin America, to take over Al Ahly. This is something big, to be honest, because you know, Al Ahly always used to hire or Egyptian coaches or coaches from Latin America or Europe. This will be the first time that an African coach takes over Cairo Giants, and that will be some pressure for him. But knowing him, I blindly trust him that he will be able to deal with that pressure. His mind games as usual, so I think he will be up to the challenge, definitely.
Tell me, what is the reason for the departure of the current coach?
Well, actually, you know that what happened with Zamalek, the rivals of Al Ahly, they had the same problem like 2 weeks ago when Patrice Cartiron, the French coach, got a big offer from Saudi Arabia, and he decided to terminate the contract unilaterally, and that left Zamalek in a big trouble, and they hired ex-coach Pacheco, Jaime Pacheco, the Portuguese coach, because he knew the team well and he knew how to deal with the club administration and so on. And coming to Al Ahly, Weiler, he wanted to go on vacation in the first 5 days of October to Switzerland to meet his family and so on. But Al Ahly board urged him to do the vacation in the last 5 days of September and to have more time and to spend more time with the team in preparations for Wydad. But he said, no, I have to go to Switzerland. And that sparkled some doubts with Al Ahly administration. They fear that he might do the same as Patrice Cartiron, just go on Switzerland and terminate the contract, especially as long as there is a clause in the contract allowing both parties to terminate the contract in the first 10 days of October. So Al Ahly administration had the sensation that he's going to had the feeling that they are going to he's going to terminate the contract once he is in Switzerland, especially that he has received some offers, not from Saudi Arabia this time, but from clubs in Belgium, namely Ghent, I think. So to take a step forward, Al Ahly board, they thought about alternatives, and taking into consideration even the not convincing performance of Al Ahly under Weiler in the past few weeks since the restart of the local competition here in Egypt. So they decided, no, it's time to terminate the contract, and it's we can use this clause before he uses it. That's what Al Ahly board think. And they thought about the favorites to take the job. They had three names: Luciano Spalletti, the famous Italian coach, but of course his wage demands are very high. I think it's very difficult to imagine that any African club can afford this kind of wages. And another coach, which is an Argentine coach, Rodolfo Arrubarrena. He is a good coach, and he coached Boca Juniors, a club very similar to Al Ahly on terms of popularity, pressure, and so on. But he knows nothing about the continent. He knows nothing about Egypt. And then it came the name of Pitso Mosimane. He has all the criteria needed to take the job. He knows how to deal with the pressure. He knows the team very well. He knows the opposition very well. He already won this competition. He knows everything. So, and he's not going to complain or have a surprise. Oh, you do this in Egypt? No, we don't do this in Europe. Or no, he will just come to work.
He's an African
from day one. Yes, he's an African. He is not going to oh, I got shocked, I can't. No. He's just a hardworking man, and tactically brilliant, actually, because he knows how to play big games, especially against North African rivals. So he has everything needed to take the job. And as I mentioned before, it will be a huge challenge for him because he will be the first African coach from outside Egypt that takes the job. But he's up for it.
So, as you say, this will mean a lot for African coaches. how he succeeds at Ahly, it will mean a lot, because I understand that at Ahly, yes, they are the record 8-time African champions, but they've been on that 8th title for a very long time now, and they can't wait to add the 9th Champions League title.
Yes, indeed. The last time Al Ahly won the Champions League was in 2013, and that was with an Egyptian coach, Mohamed Youssef. Now it has been 7 long years for Al Ahly fans, because in the middle they lost 2 finals, 2017 and 2018. One to Wydad and then to Esperance of Tunis. So I think Al Ahly fans they feel it's now or I don't want to say never, but I mean now you have everything needed. The formula is very easy, as you said, 3 games and you win the title. The club won the domestic league with 7 weeks to spare, and the players are talking physically. They are fresh. Maybe they have some problems in defense regarding to some injuries in center back position. They have some problems, but all in all, the club has everything to win the Champions League right now. And I think it will be definitely a big move for all African coaches. I think it is time for big African clubs like Al Ahly and Sundowns and Wydad and TP Mazembe, even Horea of Guinea, for all of them to exchange African experience. We know our continent much better than anyone else who comes from Europe.
Thank you.
With a lot of respect, we have Hossam El Badri, Mohamed Youssef won the Champions League with Al Ahly. Even Momin Seliman reached the Champions League final with Zamalek. Zamalek did it with a local coach. Hussein Amouta with Wydad, Mihayo Kazembe with TP Mazembe, even Lamin Ndai with Mazembe and then with Horea. Now Pitso Mosimane, of course, is the greatest example of them all, because he has been in charge for a long time. So I think this can mark a new era in African football among the big clubs in the continent. We can use our resources, we can exchange experience. So hopefully this happens and comes into reality, because European coaches come, they just make Africa like a stepping stone to go to the Arabian Gulf countries, and they don't work on long-term projects. But having seen what Mosimane did at Sundowns for so many years, I think this is the example to follow. And this is the example that a lot of big clubs can take here in Africa. So hopefully it comes to reality, and all the best for him if he takes over.
Yeah, and another thing that I've been looking at, the outgoing coach, I think he came with 3 staff members. I think it was an assistant coach, an analyst, and also a goalkeeper coach. I understand that Al Ahly fans, they like the goalkeeper coach a lot. So it means that the new technical team, he will also be allowed to bring his own people.
There will be some negotiations about that. I think Al Ahly board, they really wanted the goalkeeping coach to remain, because the starting keeper, Mohamed El Shenawi, reached very high levels with him, and he was more than convincing under his guidance. So I think this is the only point. But the goalkeeping coach, and there has to be some kind of an Egyptian assistant in the staff, just to help Mosimane to deal with things here in Egypt. Like when they play in the league, okay, this team plays defensively, this team plays offensively. We have to win this game. This means a lot to the fans. There are some things that it's very necessary to have an Egyptian coach in the staff, especially when there are some players that are not very well disciplined. And I'm sure that Mosimane will use his iron arm to fix all of this if he comes. So there will definitely be an Egyptian coach, and the goalkeeping coach, the Swiss goalkeeping coach, I think Mosimane may accept his continuation. There will be no problem about that. The other assistants, I think it will be up to Mosimane to pick his own stuff. So I think there will be no problem in coming to the technical stuff. Yeah.
Mhm. And I know that Al Ahly fans, in fact, Egyptian fans, they always have this obsession with Sereno, but
Yeah.
also a long obsession they've always had with the billiard as well.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I remember that in the 2016 campaign when Sundowns won the Champions League, Khama Billiat impressed all the Egyptian fans here, and there was a lot of talk about him coming to Egypt either for Al Ahly or even for Zamalek, the Sundowns rivals by that time. Also, Keegan Dolly was a great player by that time, but he went to France. And now, yes, Sereno's a great player, of course, and not sure about the next signings. I think there are already some names in the transfer market that Al Ahly has been linked with, but I think everything will be discussed with the new coach. If Mosimane comes, I think he will have a big say on who to sign and who not to sign. And especially that Al Ahly now they have all the foreign quotas covered, but they are going to sell like 2 or 3 foreign players to allow signing more in the next few weeks. So hopefully Al Ahly board and Mosimane, if they agree on the transfer policy, I think they will discuss it together, and they will maybe he brings somebody from Mamelodi Sundowns, maybe not, but I'm sure that he will know what he needs. Once he has 1 or 2 training sessions with the club, he will know what he needs, and he will define the positions that need to be reinforced.
And one of the things you were just talking about earlier was to say, you know, that he does his work very well. You could find that already he's been studying the last few league matches already of what's happening in Egypt and also with Al Ahly.
Yes, definitely. This man, he studies a lot and he knows a lot. I remember one press conference in 2016. He was going to play Zamalek in the group stage, not in the final. And some journalists asked him, which player do you fear the most of Zamalek, or you are going to mark, something like that, or to close on? He said, well, Zamalek team is very good. All the players are good. And he told us in the press conference room the whole lineup that Zamalek was going to play next day, and it was the correct lineup. He even described some players. He said the left back, that guy with the long hair. He said he knows a lot about Egyptian football. I think he is a man who cares a lot about details. So he is definitely the right man for the job. And I think it will be a win-win situation for Al Ahly and for him as well, because he will take the chance to prove himself on the in a totally different environment. It's not very different from comparing South Africa to Egypt. It's not very different, but I mean, maybe the pressure here is a bit higher.
Yeah.
And maybe the player mentalities here are a bit different. Some players here, I mean, the level of professionalism in Egyptian clubs are not that high as it seems. We have some disciplinary problems here with some players. So he will have to deal with these challenges, but I think he has everything to deal with them.
Mm-hmm. You talk about disciplinary problems, but when I was in Cairo, I saw that there's not a lot of night clubbing and all those things and drinking. So what kind of disciplinary problems are there when it comes to Egyptian players?
Well, actually, no, there are some nightclubs. Actually, there is one player in a big Egyptian clubs. No need to name him during this chat. He's very famous for going to nightclubs and have photos there, and then the club finds him the next day because there are some photos. But the main issue when it comes to discipline is that when a player who is very talented, who has all the qualities, technically speaking, and he finds himself benched or outside the squad list for an important game, he makes a lot of troubles. You know, he begins to question the coach. He begins to say, "You don't know who I am," you know, because I can win you the game, something like that. So some players have big egos. They have big social media backing as well. Social media is another big issue that Mosimane has to deal with, because sometimes I don't say that social media in Egypt controls the decisions of clubs, no, but it affects them. Sometimes clubs take some decisions or just issue some statements, not in an official manner, but in semi-official manner, just to see how the social media will react. And if the reaction is positive, okay, they go on with the decision and they announce it officially. If the reaction is negative, they back down. And that happens a lot of times with Ahly, with Zamalek, with all the clubs, the big clubs here in Egypt. So I think some players who enjoy big social media backing, who have the big egos, will try to be, you know, like indispensable members of the team, that they have to be played, whoever the coach is. So this is the kind of disciplinary problems that Mosimane might face if he comes. And yes, there are, as I told you, there are some 1 or 2 players who, yes, who are known for going to nightclubs, drinking, and so on. But it's not as much not as much as in other countries, yes, but it exists.
Just 2 quick questions. I know that you are pressed for time. You have to leave in the next 5 minutes. The first one, I will ask you this first one, then I'll ask you the next one. I know that the Ahly job, taking nothing away from Zamalek, is the biggest paying job in Egypt.
Yes, definitely. Yes, definitely. Because Weiler, even the outgoing coach, was the highest paid in Egypt. His contract, it wasn't announced officially, but according to reports and leaks and so on, he was taking, with all his staff, he was taking more than 2 million euros a year. And that's a very big sum here in Egypt.
And that's 2 million euro a month?
No, a year.
Oh, 2 million euro a year.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. And I think because of that reason, Ahly is not going for European coaches anymore. If Mosimane succeeds, he will go to African coaches because, of course, they will be more affordable.
Yeah. But if he can win the Champions League in 3 matches, hey, that can be a huge bonus.
Definitely. And it will be, you know, since this Ahly board took over, they came to win the Champions League. That was the main promise for this Ahly board when they took over in 2017, that we are going to win the Champions League. So if he does it, it will be a huge relief for this board, because winning the Egyptian Premier League has been like something of an ordinary outcome for Ahly. The default thing that is that Ahly wins the league. Maybe in some exceptions that Zamalek wins the title, but the default thing is that Ahly wins the league. But Champions League is totally another story. It will mean a lot for Ahly fans, Ahly board, and definitely he will gain more recognition, and definitely he will get a huge bonus.
And then finally, from my side, Amr, yes, he's coming. Because I think I saw somewhere that even the tickets have been sent and everything, but it's also not going to be easy. I was looking at the way Pyramids, ever since Pyramids came, they've been trying to rival. It's always been Zamalek and Al-Ahly, but Pyramids wants to feature there. And what they've done this season, to take Ramadan Sobi from Al-Ahly, I mean, the big players they've been signing, it's also you can tell that as much as Al-Ahly, they've won this year's league title, next season is going to be very difficult.
Definitely. And I think especially if Pyramids can win the CAF Confederation Cup, they are already in the semifinals this year. So they have a semifinal with Horea of Guinea. I think if they win the CAF Confederation Cup, it will be a huge boost for them. And you know what? There was some rumors that they may get Weiler after he leaves Al Ahly to coach them next year. But anyway, as you mentioned, they got Ramadan Sobhi and they got Abdullah Said, one of Egypt's biggest stars 2 years ago. He is maybe the best player in the Egyptian Premier League right now, but they lack the fan base. That's the main problem.
Pyramids,
is that okay? Yeah, money bought you coaches, bought you players, but it can't buy you fan base. That's the main issue about pyramids. When you have great fan base in countries with big football tradition like Egypt or South Africa, right, you can affect the way the game is being managed in whole the country. But if you don't have fan base, you only have money, you know, you cannot always have a big say and take decisions in the league schedule and so many things. You know, something that I'm sure you understand what I want to say. But pyramids, they don't have the fan base. They don't have that heaping pressure from the public opinion. So maybe they will compete for the league title next year, and maybe not. But definitely they are a team to take into consideration, and it will be a huge rivalry for Al Ahly with them and with Zamalek. And maybe we have another team that is being sold right now, but still in negotiations. So I think it will be probably difficult for Al Ahly next year. But Al Ahly, they have the profile, they have the character, they have the tradition to be the team to beat. You know, so I think they remain the favorites. Doesn't matter who else are in battle with them for the league title.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. No. Thanks so much, Amr. Thanks so much.